Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are, and welcome to my reaction of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mutant Mayhem, you thick idiot.
Now, normally, under any other circumstances, there'd be a trailer playing, but Viacom absolutely suck at being part of the internet ecosystem. And so, if I play the trailer, I'm going to get struck down, so F them. I'm not even going to bother playing the trailer. You'll get a couple of stills, and that's about it. So, here we are again. A retelling of the Turtles' origins for the 100th time. Fantastic. Well, let's get the positives out the way first. The animation style looks gorgeous. Not a big fan of when they do the kind of cut frame rates to make it look like stop motion. I don't like that. It hurts my eyes. But I respect when they... I'm always happy when Turtles or animations or shows that are established take on different animation styles. Like Masters of the Universe, when it came back, took on a more anime style. And although Masters of the Universe is a pile of crap, Revelations is a pile of crap, the animation was gorgeous. And it went more anime, and I like that. This one is basically ripping off the Spider-Verse. And that's fine. No problem. Just give us more frame rates. That's all I ask. It doesn't need the choppy thing. That allure has gone away now. It's been done too many times. Paramount, you're always slow to catch up with everyone else. In fact, how you're still functioning, I'm pretty sure that you're just surviving. Well, now you're surviving on two franchises, Yellowstone and Star Trek. Everything else, Halo, you butchered that. So you need this to be a success. But the problem is, every time you try to do it, keep ballsing it up, because the biggest problem with the Turtles is you're not grinding them up with the audience. So even when we got the live action films, what you had is you put Michael Bay in charge. I think he was just a producer, but you had him in charge who has the mentality of a moron stuck in the 80s. And it didn't work when it came up. We're watching this in, say, when was it, 2010 when it came out? And with that, and it had like the 80s sense of humor, and it's just like, rubbish, absolute rubbish. And that's why both of the films did not do well at the box office at all. So, with this, I forgot my train of thought, so I'm just going to go straight back into talking about the cartoon. We're getting a retelling of the same old bloody origin story that we've had a million times. And why? Like, why? Why do we need to know what the Turtles' origins again? There's no need. Everyone and their mother knows it. Even my mother knows it, and she doesn't know anything about cultural trends. But she knew, because I was such a big fan of the Turtles when I was a kid, that I would just bore the living crap out of my parents with all their stories and all this kind of stuff. So even my parents know the origins. They don't need a retelling. Well, my mum, dad's passed away. That's not the point. Okay, they don't need a retelling of this, and neither do we, who grew up with a bloody franchise. You're trying to reboot again for like the 100th time, and you're trying to target a teenage audience. Why? If you'd have come out with this and made it, let's say, like Spawn, okay, the animated series Spawn, which was very dark, very gritty, and that. And I'm not saying everything has to be dark and gritty. We don't need to go Batman with everything. But this one could have been like, it's the Turtles' surrounding environment could have been a lot darker, a lot grittier, and these teenagers have to grow up very, very quickly. Okay, so they come out of the sewers. They get this chance to kind of mix with the world or interact with things, and they're coming in all starry-eyed and like in love with everything, like, oh, this is all amazing. And then as time goes on, reality kicks in that everyone's an arsehole, and everyone just hates these Turtles because they look like freaks and all this kind of stuff. And though in reality, if it happened today, these kids will pop out, they'd be billionaires within 20 minutes because they'd be all over TikTok, and there'd be merchandise and all of this kind of stuff. All right. There is no way they'd be beaten back into the sewers. That's just not going to happen. But let's say in a separate universe, people would still have that attitude. Okay, and so over time, they get more cynical. And so you could have told that story where they came out and then things went wrong and then they started getting blamed for everything and they just get driven either away from New York or back into the sewers. So when they have to re-emerge after all these years of exile, they're a bit more cynical and more weary of humans. And so although they still have their personalities, you can tell a story in a more cynical view because it's us. That's what we're like. You know, we've grown up in this god-awful capitalist system, and that's why nobody likes Disney. That's all that light, fluffy crap that tells the same boring story over and over again. This is doing the same. Okay, the only oh wow moment was seeing like Donatello get stabbed in the leg with a sai. I'm like, okay, that's nice. So at least we know they're not targeting kids specifically. But, you know, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. It could be a lot darker, but, you know, surrounding a couple of naive teenagers. And if they do that, then, hey, great. And I'm not saying have it devoid of humour like Bebop and Rocksteady. Could be humorous in their sadistic way. Or, you know, the big, beefy mutant things beating the crap out of people and having a laugh doing it. So there is ways of doing it, but you can still have that kind of cynicism embedded in our generation that would get a lot more fun out of this than it being all light, fluffy, childish, yo, that's lit, man, and all this kind of outdated humour. So that's it. We don't get many reveals in the trailer. They kept it vague. We got to see April, and I know some people will be like, why is she black? I don't really care. You know, when you've I'll keep saying to you, when you've retold a story a million times, just like Peter Pan, it doesn't matter if you take liberties with the origins. You can't just keep having the same thing 1,000 fucking times and not expect some changes, especially as time moves on. So it's the same with like Lord of the Rings and all this kind of stuff. It's like, you know, it's a tale told 1,000 times, but then I say that and I'm like, when they do that in comic books, I'm like, God damn it, I can't recognise this character. But it's because it's a first outing. If they rebooted the Avengers for the 10th time, then I'd be like, yeah, I don't care. Do what you like with it. You know, we've seen it a million times. I have the stuff that I like. And it's the same with the Turtles. Like, nothing will likely surpass the 2007 animated film, which was phenomenal. It was way better than I expected it. And what was it? It was dark. It was gritty. It told a personal story. Although Mikey and Donnie took a kind of, were pushed to the side in this, it was more about Donnie and Raph. It worked. And the fight that they had, and that Raph won. What an amazing film. I love that film so much. One of my favourite animated films. That should be the blueprint in terms of the cynicism, because it maintained some of its silly humour. But in reality, it was more grounded, and I absolutely love that film. But here, looks like we're just getting more just dumbed down silliness that I hope with Seth Rogen behind does surprise us in the same way that Chip 'n Dale's did. Because when Chip 'n Dale's came out, it was perfect. I mean, it was Pop Stars Never Stop, Never Stopping retold with chipmunks, but it was great. You know, Chip 'n Dale's was going to get out to a bigger audience than Pop Stars did, I think, maybe. But it was a huge success. So it worked for that. With Turtles, again, that retreading of the 2007 story in modern style, with more like other mutants involved, would have been a lot better. And I'm not hyped for this, but I hope I'm surprised. Again, some of the voice actors, again, if you're going to cast Giancarlo Esposito in anything... Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit more thoroughly over the voice cast in this, because I briefed over it in my video and I forgot quite a few out because my brain doesn't function great anymore. So let's just breeze through these as quickly as we can. Nicholas Cantu, Brady Noon, Shimon Brown Jr. and Mika Abbey are playing the Turtles. They're teenagers. Makes sense to cast teenagers to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then we have Jackie Chan as Splinter. Now that's an interesting one. Jackie Chan does a good job as a voice actor. Although I think I saw an afro on Splinter in the trailer. More akin to like the blaxploitation era. So Maybe we could have had Samuel Jackson instead. But hey, you know, Jackie Chan could be interesting. It's a breakaway from the kind of Japanese origins, possibly. So let's see. Then we have Ayo Edebiri as April. I don't know much about her, so moving on. Seth Rogen as Bebop. I mean, it's Seth Rogen doing Seth Rogen. John Cena as Rocksteady. Could be as surprisingly good, or could be as naff as Sheamus was in the live-action film. Giancarlo Esposito as Baxter Stockman. Fantastically good. Perfect casting choice there. Let's move on. Maya Rudolph is Cynthia Utrom. I'm not familiar with Cynthia Utrom. I should have checked the name before I did this, but never mind. Maya Rudolph, you're just going to get Maya Rudolph. Just going to get sassy, loud, sometimes funny, just sometimes grating. Hannibal Buress as Genghis Frog. Now, that's an interesting choice, but why the heck not? I love Hannibal. He's a fantastic comedian. If we get like a dry-witted Genghis Frog type character, that would be a kind of maybe like the surprise star of the film if they're in it long enough. Rose Byrne as Leatherhead. Now, Leatherhead, from my recollection, is from Louisiana, and Rose Byrne is Australian. So, are we just going to get an Australian crocodile, alligator, whatever? Remains to be seen. If she does a perfectly good Louisiana accent, then, you know, she deserves all the accolades that she might get. Ice Cube Superfly. Okay, that's I have a soft spot for Ice Cube, so whatever, man. He can be in whatever he likes. I like his honesty. Interesting casting choice. Obviously, Baxter Stockman and The Fly are not going to be related. Or one turns into the other, and then we get two different voices for the same character. Let's wait and see. Post Malone as Ray Fillet. No, that's just weak. Post Malone sucks as an actor. And Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko. I'm actually happy to see that we're getting Mondo Gecko in this. And it's Paul Rudd, so, you know, he can do what he likes. And that's the voice cast. So, mixed bag. Could be interesting. Could be a complete disaster. Let's wait and see. But that is all. I've rambled on long enough. I'm not blown away by the film. But I hope it pleasantly surprises me. And has a bit more teeth to it. But we shall see. That is all. Let normality resume.